how's it going? It's going E3-ly, did you say?
I was trying to make a pun, but it didn't work out.
Amaze 3? Okay, whatever, it's done. Ben, how you doing this week?
Is this the 20th episode?
This is episode numero 20. Our podcast is just old enough that it doesn't make logical sense for it to buy a fake ID because it's going to be 21 in a year. That's how old our podcast is.
Or in a week, in the case of podcasting.
Yeah, podcasts age differently. It's like dogs, kind of.
Yes, you're right. It's like dog years. It's like 1 week is a year.
We got some guests back, though.
As always, or as we've had for the last 2 weeks, we had the same guest we had for our E3 Speculation-tacular, Mr. Dan Roach.
Hey.
And Mr. Aaron Walsdorf sitting next to me this time.
Hi, thanks for having me back.
Welcome.
Happy to have you, Aaron.
Speculation Nation.
And we went from Speculation Nation to Confirmation-ation last night, or in the last couple days, so...
You should have probably said nation both times.
I wanted to be different, what can I say?
So yeah, we've seen all the E3 presentations and conferences and whatnot.
Yeah, today...
all what that matters.
All that matters, it isn't the show floor, which is awesome in of itself. We're recording this on Tuesday, June 12th, so today was the first official day of the show floor being opened. When you guys hear this on Saturday, the show will be just wrapping up, so E3 is in full gear. We watched all the press conferences over this last weekend, and as you guys know, we ended last episode with a bunch of speculation, a bunch of our 5 predictions each, actually. So we're going to kick off the show by going over those, seeing what was right, what was wrong for everyone. We're going to go around the tables. Mostly wrong, but we're going to go around and we're going to see what's up. And in the spirit of us, me and Ben being a very cordial host, we're going to have Dan and Aaron go first. So Dan, start us off.
Thank you, Mr. Cordial Man.
Anytime.
I'm going to start with the wrong predictions. Thank God that this was wrong about Sony trying to jack the Switch. You know, the Switch's swag.
Yeah, I agree.
So, luckily, they, didn't do that. New Alien game.
I would have loved to see that.
Yeah, wasn't in the cards this year, but we'll get there eventually.
We will. I have faith we're going to get, especially with whether or not Alien Covenant was a giant success worldwide. Like you said last week, Dan, you brought up a very good point. Those games are rock solid no matter what. We're going to get another Alien game. I'm willing to bet we're going to get another one in the style of Isolation too, though.
Alien games are rock solid no matter what. That's a good quote for you on that one.
Rock solid, like 4K, baby.
How about Alien and Colonial Marines, I think, is what Dan's referring to.
Well, that wasn't rock solid. That was not rock solid. That was a glass cannon, as you put it last week, except not good. All right, Mr. Daniel, please keep us going.
Unfortunately, there was no Mario Kart DLC announced either.
Again,
Quite dismayed by that.
I'm sorry.
Probably just because there's no room on the select screen.
Can't make those bubbles.
That's their biggest hurdle.
It is jam-packed at the moment. I can confirm from extensive playtime myself. So what else do you got for us, Mr. Danny?
I got 2 correct predictions, which were that they were going to show some Uncharted Last Legacy. And that was cool. It was actually kind of messed up because was the sound broken for you guys when you watched it?
No. Did you watch it on Twitch?
No. Where do you watch it, on Twitch?
No, YouTube. And
I watched it
Same.
through IGN.
Oh, shit, really?
Don't
You
go
watch
through
it on
IGN,
IGN?
dude.
Yeah, and
No,
it's funny because when the post-show started, one of the guys was like, I forget if it was Brian Altano. I don't want to pin this on Ancient Bizzle if I don't have to, though.
Don't get it on B-Alts. Don't bring a Brian down if you don't have to. As a Brian myself, don't bring one of my brethren down if it's not his fault. Do you know he was manning the switchboards himself, Daniel? Answer the question.
No, but I'm just saying one of them said something to the degree of, Sony messed up the stream on that one.
Yeah.
So they pinned it on Sony. But if you're saying, so you heard the audio on the Uncharted demo?
Yeah.
No problem?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, the first 2 things they showed,
I know,
couldn't even hear it.
I heard a lot of people saying that the Twitch stream was messed up. I didn't hear anything about the IGN stream, though. That's interesting.
It's weird that you guys were able to hear it. Maybe you just have better speakers.
I mean, we watched it on the official E3 YouTube channel.
Gotcha.
The live stream.
Yeah.
So they
And
just
it had
sabotaged
full
everyone.
audio.
Yeah, I try and stay away from the second-party viewings.
Yeah.
Same.
I wanted to watch Agent Bizzle before it started, the little pre-show and post-show. I mean, I liked the guys that IGN had talking about it.
They were doing good stuff all weekend.
And gals.
Yeah. Alana Pierce was actually on the stream that we watched. It was Jeff Keighley's Game Slice stream, and that's like the official YouTube branded one. So I guess you know what it is. I mean, net neutrality isn't even gone yet, but they're already getting a head start.
So what did you think of Uncharted?
Uncharted, I'm excited for it. I'm sold. I'm a big Uncharted fan. I loved Uncharted 4. I was probably gonna cop this regardless. After I saw what I saw at the PlayStation Experience, I was already sold on this. I actually really liked the opening. Like, I got a great vibe off of that opening. Yeah, I was, as I saw the sand falling, and they had some really cool instruments. There was a sitar, and I don't know what the instrument, it was like a accordion box almost, a stationary accordion. It was just, they played some really cool music.
I'm not sure what it is either, but it was really cool.
Yeah, I really just from the very start there, I was just getting a great vibe off that. And some of the onstage stuff was a little weird. I guess we'll get to that later, the Sony conference. But Uncharted, I'm sold.
Is there anything that you'd like to see improved from Uncharted 4?
I mean, I don't think they could necessarily improve on it, but I'm definitely would love to see these characters continue. It's Chloe, right? That's her name?
Yeah, Chloe Frazier, right? I think, or something like that.
I'm not sure. Of her
something
last
like
name.
that.
Chloe Frazier or something like that, I should say, closer to the mic. But yeah, it's her from Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3 for a bit, and Nadine Ross, who was also, I actually really liked her. I think she was even maybe my preferred villain in 4, and 4 had great villains. That was
I always play as Nadine on Uncharted Online, which is good. I also hope that this DLC brings some good multiplayer stuff to Uncharted, because Uncharted multiplayer, it's good.
It is.
I think now it's a full game, actually. It started as DLC, but I think now it's a full game.
I don't know if it's coming out at full price, though.
Yeah, it's a standalone now.
Well,
I'm pretty sure.
It's standalone. That doesn't necessarily mean it... Yeah, it is standalone, but that doesn't mean it's going to be full price or it's a full game, necessarily.
So it's like a First Light type deal. How much did First Light cost? This is $30. $30 would be perfect. I mean,
I'm thinking 40.
If it's a $60 full game, I'm down for like a full...
Oh, yeah.
If they just decide to extend this into a full-length Uncharted game that's as long as the original...
That would be incredible.
I'm so down for that. It could totally...
I'm thinking, honestly, $40 for an 8 hour game, maybe some like content for the multiplayer, like you said, like some packs, some skin packs, some DLC for the multiplayer on top of that. That's an amazing prospect for me.
Yeah, it actually, the cool thing about having it be a standalone is that you don't have to have like 80 gigabytes of Uncharted 4 downloaded to your system, because as much as I love Uncharted, I needed to delete it to play Doom, which was like literally 80 gigabytes or more. It's like, it might have even been 90. It was like the biggest game on my entire hard drive after I did the update and like downloads.
How is that Doom copy going, by the way?
It's my place. I gotta say, since March 3rd,
haven't been playing it much.
My PlayStation has been pretty dormant.
Oh, that's my copy. So get on that, my friend.
I'll get popping on that. I liked it. But anyway, getting to my next prediction, that was correct. We're all on board for Uncharted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Zelda DLC. Got the date for that. That's pretty close.
Fall and holiday. I forget what the specific date was.
It was like the 20th. No, I'm sorry. I think it was like the 30th.
October?
Well, the first one is this month.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
I missed the date somehow.
Yeah, it's June. It's in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's June 30th, right? End of this month, literally.
Yeah, it's this month.
Sweet, yeah.
So sweet. And the next one did they give a month?
They said holiday.
Holiday, yeah.
Holiday, but let's go by the first DLC pack first. What's coming up this month?
Yeah, the Master Sword trial looked pretty awesome. There was a lot of cool levels they showed.
Yeah, I didn't realize some things about the Master trial. Maybe I didn't fully read what they put out. I mean, I did read what they put out, but I didn't remember this kind of gimmick was the whole gimmick, where it seems like, based on what they showed, that you just start out completely naked with nothing. It shows him pick up a stick and just go from there. Then it shows him take out, the enemies, get the axe, and just work up from there. And it just seemed like, I love that idea of like a survival, just put you in some boss mode where you have to start out with a stick.
Literally
to get
start
your
from
first
scratch.
To get your first weapon, you need to get it from an enemy and just take it from there. I could just imagine when they give you gear, it's like makes all that gear feel fresh again, like, oh, I'm excited
because you feel so happy to be like, I got the gear, I got it back finally.
Yeah, it adds excitement to getting items that you were like tired of getting in the regular game.
The axe, the woodcutter axe is going to be that much better again. And it's like expanding on the idea of the Eventide Island shrine, which is the same idea of just starting in your underwear again and working up from scratch.
Which is one of my favorite moments in the game. I loved that shrine so much.
Yeah, it's a great concept, and it really, like you said, it adds a lot to what you've already seen a million times. And instead of starting the game over, you get a feel for that while still being in your same save file.
And I believe that after you complete it, your Master Sword permanently ups in power.
Yeah, apparently.
That's pretty awesome.
It's pretty cool.
So I have not played the game yet, but I might even want to just start out with that DLC. It looks so cool to me. I mean, that element of survival and that satisfaction that you guys were talking about.
You may need to get the Master Sword first to play it.
Got it. That would make sense.
Yeah, because it is called Trial of the Sword, correct?
I do like how it's not like you download the DLC and you like start it separately from the home screen. It's like they're adding things to the game. So like the extra items, like the Korok mask, you have to find in the world. Like they don't just give it to you. You have to find it somehow. Yeah. It might be in a treasure chest or something.
So they're keeping the balance of Breath of the Wild, which is that sense of discovery and having to scavenge and find everything, more or less.
Yeah, how is that going to work? I was wondering that earlier. Like, are you going to have to just go back everywhere and it's going to be, in a chest in a spot you've been before and you find it?
You just got to explore, man.
Because, I'm down to go over the whole map again. And I'm...
what was it called again?
The Hero's Path.
The Hero's Path. That might help.
Whew!
I mean, you'd want to explore the whole map, even if it was in a chest you've already been in?
Yes.
Yes, confirmed, yes.
I think
you, Brian?
I think that would be a little much. I mean, I would hope...
Yes. No.
Yes. I disagree with that, yeah. I think that...
To be fair, as an outsider looking in, I can understand. It would be hell, but
it's also heaven.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be kind of a poor thing to do on their part.
I don't mind them hiding it necessarily.
I don't think that they should just put them like randomly.
It may be slightly more blatant. It may maybe it gives you some kind of it gives you a new quest or something, or like some way about finding it that's not totally just randomly sitting somewhere.
It might even be linked to the Master Quest. Like you find it, you get chests in that. Maybe the shrines.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, and I would like to see that.
On floor 30 out of however many you get the Korok Master.
That could be really cool. That would be really cool.
I mean, at the same time, Aaron, like one of the things you love about Dark Souls is like the sense of like finding stuff. Like I can see the point that they're making with like one of the great things about Zelda Breath of the Wild is like that sense of discovery. The idea of even just knowing, okay, you paid for these things, they're in the world, go find them. I agree. I can see the point in that. I don't think I would want to necessarily scour the entire map and not be able to find them. That'd be annoying, but I don't want that. I don't necessarily know if I want them to just hand me something for, paying money.
No, I wouldn't want it handed to me, but I think it would be cool if there were, let's say, even hidden chests in the DLC that contain these items. That's what I would like to see.
Yeah, it'll most likely be more intuitive than just like being like, haha, good luck.
Go find them.
Somewhere in the world, go find it.
Or maybe it'll be somewhere special, like at a fairy fountain or something. Like it'll be sprinkled out somewhere more obvious than just randomly.
Yeah, like it puts it in a place, good places where they know that you probably will go.
Like a place that has some kind of deeper meaning to like the lore of the game and those big story moments.
Say you get the Korok masks at, Korok Central,
That would make a lot of sense.
Or maybe the only way to get them is by defeating a gold Lionel.
Maybe.
And, there's the gold Lionels, which is in the first one, right? That's the difficulty spike. Is the first DLC spec.
Yeah, that's the new color they were talking about way back.
And then the next one is the Champion Story DLC, which they gave pretty much no concrete information on, but it's about the champion characters. And
they announced amiibos for it.
Oh, that too.
So the DLC
Is
is
getting
warranting these amiibos.
I thought what would be awesome, I don't know how pie in the sky this is, but if you could control the divine beasts, and maybe you play as them in the past, failing to the blights, or
That'd be really interesting if you could play as all of them, and because like it seems like they're almost going in that direction. And I know that even Zelda was in there. I know we were talking about way back when this was like first announced, Ben, when we were first doing the podcast. What if you get to play as Zelda in this? Kind of like a Burial in the Sea Part 2 thing with Elizabeth. So I wonder, maybe you get to play as all 5 of those characters and get a different viewpoint.
Imagine just flying, if you play as all of them and just flying around the world as Rivali.
Anyway, Aaron, first off, I want to give you a lot of credit because I know you haven't played the game, so it's been hard for you to jump in for this section. But I think when you do play the game, you should definitely check out the Survival Island. I think that's something you'd really be interested in. And in general, I think this is just another added thing. So for you, does this make you want to buy the game more, though, do you think?
I mean, I'm already sold on the game. I mean, this DLC definitely adds a very cool survival element for me. But I'm already sold on the game. I just need to get a Switch. But the DLC really does make me almost want to play it first, even though that might not be the smart thing to do. So I'm probably just going to start the regular game instead. But I definitely want to play the DLC.
I don't know if it's possible to start with the DLC.
It might be gated by certain progress.
You probably do need the Master Sword first, which would make sense.
And you have to get to a certain status in the game before you can even get the Master Sword.
So, new plan. Play the game, get the Master Sword, play the DLC.
And then just play the game and get sucked into it.
Just play the game, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to play the game.
All right. Should we move on to the next one?
Yeah, I think it's time to pass it over to Aaron's predictions.
Okay, so I am really, really sad by something that I'm going to save for last.
No, you're doing it.
Am I doing that first?
You're
I
doing it
think
first.
wasn't that your prediction?
That was my most right prediction.
It was both of our predictions.
It was both of ours.
Save it, lead into Brian with it.
You know what?
Okay.
You're right. You're
Tell
right.
us what you got wrong.
Okay, so I said a Jack and Daxter reboot, which was pretty on the nose, but that did not happen. And I thought that was kind of possible, because Naughty Dog had said they'd wanted to make one, but that they didn't know if it would live up to the past titles. So I thought that was a few years ago, so I thought a few years later it was possible that they might come out with a reboot. But that wasn't announced, and I'm a little disappointed. The next one I said was a potential new superhero Rocksteady game. And that didn't come out either. But I would love to see a Justice League Rocksteady game, because Crystal Dynamics is doing an Avengers game. So I'd love to see Rocksteady do a Justice League game. I think that would be very cool.
I think so too.
Another one that was not right was a new horror game with Guillermo del Toro. That did not happen, and I'm very sad.
We all mourn.
We all mourn. Like, Guillermo del Toro's world building, imagine how cool that would be in the world of video games. I would love to see that.
I'm willing to bet he's already involved somewhat in Death Stranding. Maybe with whatever Kojima does next, they'll attempt to do some kind of spiritual successor sequel to what Silent Hills was going to be, and he'll be more directly involved in that than he is in Death Stranding.
Well, whether that's 5 years, 2 years, 10 years down the line, I cannot wait for that.
Yeah, he should direct a game.
He should direct
That
a
would
game.
just take up so many precious years of his, like, he could make, like, 2 movies. in
Troll
10
Hunters,
minutes. Yeah.
the game.
You guys know he has a new movie coming out this year too, right?
What's it called?
The Shape of Water.
No, I don't know about this.
Oh, guys, it's really cool. It's Sally Hawkins is in it, and she's the girl from Godzilla. She was like the Ken Watanabe's like assistant in that. She's like a really good actress though from other stuff. And then Doug Jones, the dude from Hellboy, is in it, and he plays like a creature. He's basically playing, I think, a weird new version of the character Abe. So it's like a Cold War movie. It's like about this female like janitor who's like mute, who like finds this like weird like amphibious human being who's being tested on and like falls in love with him. It's like a weird dark like romance, and it's Doug Jones as like the weird amphibious character, and he's a dude from Hellboy. He was the guy with the eyes in Pan's Labyrinth. He's like he's really like him and Guillermo del Toro are like peanut butter and jelly. Like I'm very excited for this movie.
That sounds awesome. Have to give a quick passing shout out to Troll Hunters, which is just one of the best shows that you could watch.
Yes, and how cool would that world be in a video game?
Yeah, Troll Hunters game would be sweet.
That would be sick. And I look forward to seeing that 10 years down the line. Guillermo del Toro, I hope you're listening to this, and I hope you pick up on that. Please. He's not.
If you are listening
to this, please do that.
Also, hi, what's up? My name's Brian.
My next prediction was Elder Scrolls 6, which I'm really disappointed that they didn't show.
Well, I'm also very disappointed in Bethesda's entire showing. But
Yeah, I saw a lot of people
on
saying
Switch,
that.
Though. Motion controls.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
there was
Link.
a lot
That was the
of
sickest.
things for Skyrim.
Yeah, Skyrim was very present
It
this
was
year.
very present this year.
Master Sword,
Yeah, paid mods for
Hylian
Skyrim.
Shield.
Paid mods for Skyrim, which they're bringing back, which many people are disappointed by.
Yes. Oh,
Weird
Lord.
looking old man Link.
Weird looking old man, like creepy pedo Link.
It's just whatever
down.
you make your character creator. You can make
If
Link.
that's as close
Make a
as they
useful
could
boy.
get, though.
No,
They were literally
that was
like, fuck,
hard,
this is
yeah.
the closest we can do. You could tell, like, Todd Howard was like, come on, what is this? They're like, Mr. Howard, this is the closer. You could only let it, you only
Yeah,
made
the
us let it get
hair. The hair was atrocious.
What else you got, Aaron?
I don't have this, but talking about the Bethesda conference, I'm disappointed Doom 2 didn't get announced. We were talking about that earlier, and I loved the original reboot.
It's Doom VR, dude. Doom VFR.
Doom
which
VFR was
looked
announced.
That does look
Sick.
sick,
Dope.
but I really wanted Doom 2.
See, is that coming? Is that in Fallout also coming to PlayStation VR? That's what I want to know.
We don't know.
It didn't seem like it would be, but I have to say, Doom VFR looked like one of the fucking coolest VR games.
Yeah.
Like, such a good idea.
Looks so good.
I did it. Yeah, we'll talk about the Bethesda conference, but it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll talk about Wolfenstein 2 and
Well, I have to talk
And
about Wolfenstein 2. 'cause
Evil
that was one
Within
of my
2.
predictions.
Well, yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Evil Within 2 I thought looked awesome, so did Wolfenstein 2, but we could get more into those later. So, not my last one, but one that I did not do on air. So, I don't have any proof that this was real, but I promise all of you this was real. And Brian saw it.
I can promise I saw it. He was talking to me about it the night before. He did put this down as one of his. We all had like 5 or 6 miscellaneous ones. If there was overlap, this was one of his miscellaneous. I can
Unspoken prediction.
Unspoken prediction.
I can confirm this was an unspoken prediction that he actually wrote down.
So, Supermassive Games, the developer behind Until Dawn, I predicted that they were going to come out with an Until Dawn 2, which they did not exactly do, but they came out with a game that's taking place in the same universe, Inpatient, which I think looks really cool.
It is, yeah. We don't even. It wasn't even announced as taking place. I thought it was like some kind of like VR and Until Dawn tie-in because they already did that with Russian Blood, but it was just announced as its own separate thing. Apparently, it's a prequel, but like it doesn't really connect. And they've said it's standalone, so I don't know how much it's going to connect. It might just be like a very subtle thing, but that's cool. And the Inpatient looked really cool. And in general, Dan, what did you think? And Aaron, you too. All in Ben, everyone. What did you think about PlayStation spent a lot of time talking about VR. Some people were a little contentious about that fact. Did you like that? Did you not like the stuff they showed?
I thought that one game, The Impatient, looked really awesome. It kind of, I feel like it's taking the concept of, being trapped in a, mental asylum, imagine being in a straitjacket or, tied to a chair and just witnessing what's happening around you and what's being done to you. I feel like that could be a pretty scary concept in VR. I'm not sure if that's been tackled. Like someone kind of psychologically fucking with you and abusing you as you're, just trapped kind of and living in, and you can't do anything about it. So
Yeah, I agree. It's a really cool idea, and I don't really know if it's been executed that way before. But my game of show, which was shown at PlayStation VR, is Final Fantasy Fishing Edition. My game of show.
Yeah, that's truly next level.
Truly a masterpiece.
You know what? I want to put it to a vote right now. Game of the show. Keep plugging.
Yeah. VR fishing, Final Fantasy.
we need to
Yes,
know the
all
real
4 of
name
us.
We should.
Real big fish.
Real big fish. This is
Final Fantasy
It
Edition.
was called like Deep Sea Monsters or something.
Yeah, it was called Chocobo Fishing Adventures.
We didn't see any chocobos. How could we not see any chocobos?
They're not water-dwelling animals.
They're not
true.
water drawing. They wouldn't be there.
I would still love to fish them.
There'll be chocobos.
If
somewhere.
you look in the distance, I'm sure you'll see a chocobo eventually.
Yeah, if there's no cooking in it too, I kind of got the idea that it was taking, the elements of the most recent Final Fantasy game. You know, there were a couple of those, each character in Final Fantasy had like a little niche. Like the main character that you play as, he takes photos and, you have skills, like a couple skills. One is photography, one is fishing, and one is cooking, and you do that when they showed you sitting around a campfire.
That's right. I forgot. You played a good bit of Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I played a little bit, but yeah, it felt like they were taking some of those, like aspects that you would skill up
Yeah.
in that game.
Like those like camping and like those bonding elements that you
Yeah,
were just
yeah.
kind of relaxing with your buddies and
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
things.
If there's no cooking in this, I'll be disappointed though,
Well-
because I gotta say the best thing about that Final Fantasy game, the meals, whew, they look delicious. There was some toast.
They were delicious.
Imagine
Never
seeing
have I
those, almost
seen-
tasting them in VR.
Never have I seen better looking food in a game.
I have to say, it is literally the best looking food I've ever seen in any video
Crazy.
game. 10 out of 10.
Next
best
to
food.
the dubious food.
Next to the dubious food, it is a delicacy. It is
I don't know.
it's food porn.
Pikmin fruit looks pretty sexy.
Yes, but this is next level. I gotta say, it truly is.
Yeah, you haven't seen like steamed vegetables, carrots in Final Fantasy.
I've seen them.
Have you?
Have you?
Have you?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yes.
Okay, yes,
Yes,
okay.
I have.
Okay, can confirm. Ben has seen them.
So my last false prediction, which is going to tie right into Brian, and I really, really don't want to say this one, was Last of Us 2, which was not shown. I said it was going to be shown somehow, and it wasn't shown at all. The name wasn't even mentioned, and I wish you guys can see my
Brian
face
seems
because
to
I
forget
look
this is an
really,
audio
really sad.
show, and he's gloating a lot
Yeah.
physically.
You guys should see Brian
don't-
too. He has his hands extended.
I don't want to talk over Aaron, but all I want to say is that the champ is here. Don't ever doubt me, even though I got 2 wrong still. But don't ever doubt
You're
me.
only winning because you doubted.
I'm winning because I doubted. Never, ever.
The
Let's
only
just
man to predict the absence of something.
Okay, Ben, this is my moment. For all the children out there who are in their little groups of friends and their friends are saying, okay, Mr. Guy, you know what, you Mr. Doubter, Mr. Doubting Guy, you'll never amount to anything. You and your doubts and your fears and your contrarian opinions. Let me tell you something. Doubting is going to take you places. Doubting is going to make you go far, kid. Doubting is what makes the
Okay,
world
we
go.
get it.
Hey,
We get it.
Hey, doubting is what makes the world go round. Okay, I'm done. Thank
Well,
you.
I have to give you a lot of credit, actually. As much as I hate to admit it, it was a very good prediction, because I was thinking that there was no way it was not going to be shown, but you were very confident in your prediction that it was not going to be shown.
Keep going.
And I don't want to give you too much of the satisfaction of winning, but
No,
you were right.
give it to me.
But you were
You
right.
give him no more than
You can't
satisfaction,
possibly
dude.
give him less.
Because if you folks remember, there was more than just pride on the line here.
There is $10 on the line, and I'm going to be exchanging it on air.
There's no exchange, dude. You're not getting. You're losing.
You're
dude.
losing.
There's no exchange. It's a payment.
All right, so
I'm going to go home and just cry in the shower after this
It's
podcast.
$10.
After this $10.
his entire
I'm practically
manhood
broke after
was,
this.
was not only is he handing over this $10.
You're a man of your word, though. Respect.
You
But I'm
are,
a man of
you
my
are.
word.
You know what?
And I give
Brian.
Brian a lot of credit for his prediction.
I have to say, Aaron's been a gentleman and very nobleness. I think round of applause for Aaron. Honor and
What
defeat.
a noble
Honor and
boy.
defeat.
Allow me to sanction the passing of this $10 right now.
Please do,
Aaron,
sir.
So I'm taking the $10 out of my wallet. I have it. And I'm giving it to Brian.
Daniel, is this correct?
Is this
protocol?
going on right now?
Daniel, is this correct protocol?
Aaron still got the $10 in his
I have it in my hand.
It was still in his hand when he said he was taking it out of his wallet. He took it out of his wallet a second before that.
He's holding it in the
I
air.
was trying to add drama, Dan.
Yeah, but I'm just here to officiate it.
He's
make
officiating.
Sure.
It's not being handed over.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
like to
it's
say.
Probably
Aaron-
should be.
Aaron
Right.
still
Right
got
now-
the $10.
I'm handing it over. Can you confirm this, Dan?
He's laying
He
it.
let it
Oh,
go.
it's gone.
It's Brian's.
It is in my
That's
hand.
Taco Bell.
Daniel, Mr. Officiator, can you confirm? Can you confirm?
I can confirm. Bri, if you take out your wallet.
I'm putting it
He's
in
taking out his wallet.
Nope.
He's putting it in his wallet.
Sliding in
It's
there.
done. Aaron, it's over.
All right, so on that note, I'm going to toss it over.
I'm a very sad boy.
Aaron's a very sad boy.
I'm going to toss it over to myself.
Toss it over to myself because I'm actually a very sad boy too, believe it or not. Don't get me wrong, it was great to win this, but first off, I'm gonna go out of order and talk about the one I got right, even though we're generally not doing it that way just because it ties in. But as much as I am happy to win the bet, and as much as it's cool to not have to lose $10, look, Last of Us.
Look, I got $10, and as great as it is to have $10,
We didn't get to see Last of Us. But seriously, honestly, like, I kind of, on some level, did want to see Last of Us. I really did, because as you guys know too, I'm still a little bit mixed about this game's existence. I want to see something that makes me say, this is why it's here. But at the same time, realistically speaking, I knew it was way too early. The amount of time and effort it would have taken from them to create a vertical slice, which is, if you guys don't know, a vertical slice is what they prepare for a show like this. It's a section of the game that they polish and get ready to go just for the purpose of showing it off at a trade event. Sometimes it doesn't even end up in the final game. See the BioShock Infinite one from 2011. So the question is, I mean, when are we going to see it? And I am going to say right now, I think definitely next year. If not PlayStation X this year, I have a feeling they might get another trailer ready for PSX. We're definitely seeing it at next E3. But I don't think this game's coming until 2019. They had no reason to show it. And we'll get into this later, but it seems like in general, Sony had a big theme of wanting to show games that are in the near future of this event. Whether or not that was successful is something I think that's kind of open to debate. It seems like the internet's kind of divided, which sucks because the last 2 years, Sony dominated E3, and as a Sony fan, that does bother me. At the same time, Nintendo was there picking up the slack. Ubisoft picked up the fucking slack, and Xbox even had a good show. But I'm not going to say necessarily I liked the Xbox show better.
We'll get there.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, give us what you got wrong.
All right, guys, getting it back into the main stuff. So, number one, can't always be right. PlayStation All-Stars 2 didn't happen. That was a shot in the dark. There was nothing to say that would be happening, but it'd be so cool, and I still stand by. I know the first game wasn't that successful. I did some research after, but I think especially now, coming off Smash, I think especially now that the PlayStation 4 has been such a big success, there's all these new people that are in the PlayStation family. It could still be a great time to bring that back, and I really, really still hope they consider doing it at some point.
It probably performed better than the last one. Just because
especially at this point.
The install base is real nice right now.
Mm-hmm. My point exactly. I completely agree.
What's next?
Crash Bandicoot, no demo, no stealth drop, nothing of the sort. And they actually did have a trailer. They made a trailer, a launch trailer, and they didn't show it in the convention. I don't understand why they didn't. Because they announced that last year. That was a big part of the conference, was announcing Crash. Why not just bring him back and have a demo? Even that one little thing, I think, would have taken that to the next level.
It could have been another half hour. It felt like it was over really fast.
Yeah,
especially since like 10 minutes was dedicated to Spider-Man, which I think is
what a glorious
so
10 minutes it
worth
was.
We'll get there real soon.
To be honest, I'm more disappointed about Last of Us not showing than I am about losing the $10. Because I think if they just had one more game like that, it would have been an excellent show. It would have been an excellent show if they just had one more almost surprise game.
Me clowning aside, you're right. It would have been awesome. It would have been awesome. And look, it would have been great. And even again, just bring Crash Bandicoot out and give it like the launch trailer on show. I would have even been fine with just that. Like just one more game.
If they only showed Crash, that would have been satisfying.
Yeah.
Imagine.
It needed one more thing like that.
Exactly. And
I'm saying only show Crash.
Just literally
the whole conference.
Play the launch trailer 20 times in a row for like an hour. That'd be perfect. Yeah. All right, so they did stealth drop a Marvel vs. Capcom demo that looks really interesting. I'm going to definitely check that out, but I still think they could have done a Crash demo. I think that would have been awesome. Getting to my next point, this one was half right. This is interesting. So I said this one was me being a little silly, but no towers in Far Cry or Assassin's Creed. Now, at first I thought I was completely right on this one. Daniel here even confirmed to me you were watching a gameplay. They said no towers in Far Cry 5, correct?
Yeah, I saw this awesome video about Far Cry and the developer, behind the scenes with it, and they said that there's going to be no towers, and they're taking a more natural approach to things, which looks really cool.
I mean,
that's very exciting.
The game in general looks awesome, I have to say.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
How do you guys feel about the whole controversy with it? Does that bother you at all? Like, does the subject matter bother you with the game? Aaron, you too.
Really.
What specifically are you talking about?
You didn't hear about this? A lot of people were upset about it taking place in America and potentially it being about you fighting people that were like religious. There was like some upcry from like more right-wing and conservative groups that it was basically a game about you killing conservative Americans, which isn't really the case at all. It's about you killing religious zealots who take over a town and cult people.
They completely don't know what the game is about, and it is a story about like real Americans resisting being occupied by these more these extremists. It's a very it's totally a potent story. The only people that would get really against it would be thinking that Christian person would be impossible to be a terrorist or something like that.
Yeah, it sounds like people are mistaking it for attacking Christianity, which is not what it's doing at all.
Yeah, no.
You're fighting extremists, which if they do right, I think can be really effective villains.
Looks like a awesome... I haven't been this excited for a Far Cry game in a while. It looks like really revamped and just, looks nice.
No towers, though.
No towers.
The no tower seems like might seem like a small thing, but in actuality, it really can add a lot of naturalness to the gameplay that I'm really looking forward. What else they can contribute to that?
Well, the big question is what goes along with the no towers. I mean, that was the whole
exactly.
Like at the base of my joke, that was the point. Was like, is this them redefining the gameplay? Because it still seems like Far Cry. Don't get me wrong, but it does seem like they're adding a lot with the characters you can hire, you having people with you, even the drop in drop out co-op, and the idea that you customize your character in this game. So is it going to be more of a... They were even talking, I remember, Dan, I was reading something different where they were saying that, like, now in the game, you don't go to markers on a map. You hear things from people in the town.
Yeah, it actually, a lot of things about what they were saying about it reminded me of Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, me too.
And, I mean, they did make a lot of these decisions before Breath of the Wild was released, so it's kind of... I think it's going to have its differences from Breath of the Wild, and I don't think they necessarily looked at Breath of the Wild and was like, let's do it like this. They could have taken some ideas, but it seems like, Breath of the Wild was a groundbreaking game for just, get out there and just head in any direction and just take the world as it comes at you. And this game seems to live off the exact same principle, and the execution of it just seemed, well, I don't know how it's going to be, but it just looked like really unique, and you just find out everything by talking to people, and you need to be persistent to get people to trust you, and it sounded cool, like it was going to be a game that, like, the people that were complaining about it, I feel like it's probably going to end up being something that they would enjoy, because it seems like the story they're telling is about Americans holding their ground and, forming a resistance against people coming there and coming in and saying, you're doing this, you live for me now, like, who supports that? It's a story about just,
It's about Americans being Americans and not wanting someone to tell them how to live their life. Like, I agree. If anything, it might be one of the more patriotic games to come out in a long time.
Seriously. People just are always jumping the gun and want to, just set a fire instantly, so...
Yeah.
Is that your final prediction? No towers?
No towers. I'm really excited for Far Cry 5. Every time I see it, I get a little bit more excited. I do wish they'd show more at the Ubisoft conference, but everything I saw from... I think you and me might have even watched the same dev diary, it sounds like, but...
Yeah, that was great.
It was a great dev diary, and then IGN had gameplay too, and I really liked what I saw. I was like, I'm feeling this, and... There's some of that dissonance still where, like, same thing with Far Cry 5 had, where, like, there's kind of a serious... intense story, but like there's also this like goofiness to it. But I kind of always have liked that dissonance. Ludonarrative dissonance is actually what it's called. It's like a real term, but I actually think a little bit of that in a Far Cry game kind of works because they always kind of had this kind of goofy out there-ness to them. I wonder if that's going to be present in this game though. In the story quite as much, because obviously Far Cry 3 was all about your character kind of losing his mind. Far Cry 4 kind of took that element and ran with it a bit too, but not quite as successfully. Do you think that's going to be present in the game? You think? You think it's going to be more of like a serious story?
Which element?
The, like, how like in like Far Cry 3, like there was like a lot of like silly, like the flamethrower mission and stuff. Like there was a lot of like silly parts of it, even though it was like kind of a serious story.
I think that the heart of the franchise will still be what it is. I think that there are definitely going to be moments that are funny. And, it's normally a pretty well-rounded experience. It's got its moments of serious themes and just, tense moments. But there's a lot of comedy in those games, whether it's the NPCs saying some pretty, they have a lot of good, the people that make the games have a good sense of humor. I agree. They make Breaking Bad and 30 Rock references in the game, so... It's probably gonna reflect the personalities of those people still.
In reference to the main character losing their mind, almost like in Far Cry 3 at some points, like where he hallucinates, I don't think we're going to see much of that. I think it's going to be more about the other characters we're interacting with and the world itself, telling the story.
No, I agree. The only point I'm trying to make in bringing that up, it's less about the actual insanity and more about Far Cry games have always had an element of kind of like stupidity, and like there's always been humor in them, even with like the serious elements. And is that still going to be present? And do you think that's going to work with this little? It's even if no matter what way you feel about it, this is a more heavy theme and a more heavy thing for the game to tackle. And I know I saw a lot of people commenting about, I don't know if the game's going to be able to stick this landing. So I just kind of wanted to bring up that topic for conversation.
I think it totally has room for silliness. Even with it tackling more of a serious subject, I would love to see some silliness with it. Some even Looney Tunes type humor. I think could fit and would work well with the serious nature of the storytelling.
Okay, Looney Tunes humor.
Is that all you got, Brian?
I got one more, but this one we're just going to buzz through real fast. Wolfenstein 2. We got that trailer, obviously, and it was awesome.
One of my favorite trailers from the whole weekend. It was really...
It was incredible.
I've never played the first Wolfenstein, but I'm about to get it for the PS4.
Didn't you
play it.
borrow it at some... I could have sworn you and me were playing a bit of it together at some point a couple of years back.
I don't think I've ever played it.
I'm pretty sure we played
Isn't
it.
it actually a really old PC game? The original.
The original Wolfenstein is, but this is a sequel to a game called The New Order that came out in 2014.
Wait, you're saying we played it on your PS3?
No, PlayStation 4. We played Wolfenstein: The New Order on your PlayStation 4. I'm pretty sure, you and I. We can get into this later. This isn't important right now, but I loved that trailer. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was definitely never on my PS4. I could tell you that because I recently looked through the data and everything. I've never played it.
I might be thinking of someone from college then, but
Yeah.
either way, I've heard awesome things about the last game. I never played it too. I really want to now because it almost was like a Kojima trailer. It cut around all over the place. It was kind of goofy. Like that's a good example of a game that like is tackling serious subjects but also being kind of silly. And again, that could also maybe Far Cry does something similar and it could stick that landing too, because I heard that the first game had great characters and story for a shooter game, and I can totally tell that this seems to be the case with this one too.
It seems so good, so next level. Just storytelling was going to be just sweet. It was a great trailer. I love the way it jumped around and just gave you those cuts of like just these really different types of scenes.
Oh yeah,
it was crazy.
I love this scene with like you and like the guy and like he's getting the milkshake and he's like kind of
that was the best one.
I was gonna bring that up.
That was the biggest one where you wanted to see what happened right after.
And then it just cuts away and then you go to him like in this like crazy like armored suit and then like there's him and like the lady with the afro and she's like the dummy grenade and stuff. Like it was so weird and oh my god, the guy at the end dropping the acid and
the chameleon. Yeah, I would highly recommend the trailer.
Yes, the character interactions and the dialogue both seem natural and really well written, and the dropping the acid at the end of the trailer is a good example of adding the silliness to what was otherwise a pretty serious trailer.
Yeah.
And I think that could really work.
Speaking of taking this serious and add some silly to it, Benny boy, give me what you got.
All right, so I got only one thing correct, unfortunately.
Was I the only one that got more than one correct?
No.
How many did you get correct?
2.
So you and me are tied, I guess. I got 2.5.
So yeah, Smash Deluxe didn't happen. I'm a firm believer that it's going to. That's a lot of cash they could easily get out of that.
I would agree with that.
And my second one was Bayonetta 3, which no dice on that. Too bad.
I thought that
I'm
was
less sure about that one.
Pretty likely to.
Yeah, there was some rumors about it, but maybe it's in the works. Who knows?
It could still be. They could be saving it for next year.
I also predicted that the new Xbox console would be VR capable, and that was not true as well.
It could still be. We don't know. They just didn't talk about it.
We do know it's 4K though. If anyone didn't realize, all those games are 4K
capable. Solid 4K, you mean?
Yeah, if that was at all unclear.
No, if anyone had a question about whether it was 4K.
Wait, what kind of how solid is this 4K though? Would you say?
I think it's at least 4K.
4K?
Solid as
like
a rock?
As 4 as you can K. That's how many Ks there were forward.
Do you have to K as hard as you can 4 though? That's the question.
And my other wrong prediction was Pikmin 4K, and no, there was another good 4 which. To piggyback off of, I swear I wrote it down. Metroid. I swear I wrote Metroid down, but I didn't say it.
I can't confirm this one, listeners. I'm sorry.
Same.
You'll have to
I did not see it.
We do.
I always trust you.
My one correct one, which was kind of an obvious one, but Mario Odyssey Amiibo which there were 3 of, which are like the wedding, Mario and Peach and Bowser, white, luxurious outfits.
They kind of look like they're all getting married.
It's a 3-way relationship.
Yeah. Bowser might be the ring bearer. They also announced a Goomba and Koopa, though, to go along with the regular Mario set, which is like whatever, I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I saw they were on their Twitter about it.
I wonder what games were they supposed to go to? Superstar? Saga?
They're probably just to ride on the back of Odyssey, and they're just more Mario series amiibo.
My God.
And, but yeah, that trailer, pretty much the best video game trailer ever created, besides Breath of the Wild, from the Switch presentation.
Yeah, when Mario threw his hat on the frog, that was akin to the first time that I rode a bicycle with no training wheels or, ate a fruit roll-up.
I literally felt a like swell of like, I literally cackled out loud, but like it was like a happy cackle. It wasn't like, there was no nastiness. I was just like overjoyed. The way you are as like a little kid.
It was like I just won $10 kind of thing.
Yes. Or like how you feel as a little kid when you go to like Disney World for the
That
first
was a
time.
really low blow, Ben.
It was a joyous occasion. I mean, the fucking dinosaur.
Oh,
yeah,
my
I remember
God.
actually we were like texting during it, and Dan texted me like, "Yo, where's Mario at?" And
it was during the dinosaur
It was
thing.
like during the dinosaurs. Like, what is this? And I was about to like make the like the guess to be like, this could be it. I was gonna say this, but nah, I went with just wait.
How amazing was that? Because coming off the last one too, where they did the same thing with the city, where everyone was like, "What? Oh my God, it's Mario!"
They kind of did the same kind of fake out thing where it's like this totally unusually not Mario setting.
But it's also Mario. It's all Mario.
It's all Mario,
And
baby.
and you can control the dinosaur.
Yeah, unconfirmed. It might be Yoshi.
It's looking likely.
It could be Yoshi's mama.
I don't know how likely, but it's a good meme.
It's a solid meme.
Yeah.
Moshi.
4K Yoshi.
Yeah, that's the closest thing we've gotten to 4K Yoshi.
Rock solid Yoshi.
Well, I think it might be a little bit of a hyperbole to say it's the best video game trailer of all time. But
I don't think so.
but
Did you watch it?
Yes, I did.
Did you love the trailer, Aaron?
Why
And
do you
I
disagree,
loved
then?
it. Because I don't know if we can say yet if it's the best video game trailer of all time.
that we've experienced yet.
Of all time.
Not counting future.
I loved it, but I don't know if I'd go quite that far.
I like hyperbole. I think hyperbole is pretty much the best thing you could do ever.
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't want to... Real fast, though, I am interested. Aaron, what did you... Again, as the person on the outside looking in who was very interested in Super Mario Odyssey back when they showed it in January, did you like this trailer? Did it actually sell you in the game more, or did you just like the memeness of it?
No, I loved it. No, I really thought it was an amazing trailer.
The song, oh man. Pauline
it's
is back in
incredible.
full force. OG princess, yo. She's not even a princess, but
She's the mayor,
she's
bro.
the original Mario girl.
Yeah, I don't normally say this about the trailer, but the pacing was perfect. The way it showed us some of the environments before showing us a new mechanic of Mario's hat, allowing you to control everything in the game, it looks like.
Forget about
Looks
stars.
awesome.
Forget about
Moons.
a star, man. We got these moons.
Just the fact that
Oh my
this
God.
was...
They're much like the 3-up moons from Super Mario World.
We had no idea this was a mechanic, too. We knew about the hat. We had no idea. Oh, by the way, you can also use the hat to possess anything.
Anything.
I caught some of the
looks amazing.
developers talking right after the trailer, and they were like, yeah, we were playing around with some of the early mechanics, and we just kind of stumbled across this, and we were like, yeah, this will be the basis for the whole game.
Yeah, that was good.
No, it looks Kirby-esque, and I'm really excited by that.
We also got a Kirby game.
Yeah, I did feel a little Kirby coming from it, just how you can possess everything.
Mm-hmm.
I love how everything had the mustache. Everything.
Yeah, I went back and the fake out T-Rex in the beginning doesn't have the mustache. Maybe that was just to do the fake out.
I think it was.
Yeah.
I would love to see him with a mustache in-game. That's my
'cause
most excited thing.
The T-Rex has a mustache on the poster, I'm pretty sure.
Does he have it at
Or
the
later,
end?
yeah, at the end he does.
He does, you're right.
All right, my most excited thing of all time, no hyperbole, dinosaur with a mustache.
Oh, there
That's
you
fair.
go. So, well, that's in the trailer, so by default,
You're getting that, Aaron.
So by default, the trailer is the best thing of all time.
obviously.
Best trailer.
So we all win, really. That's the message here. Ben, what else do you got for us?
Well, that was it.
Oh,
I got one thing right, and was the amiibo. We don't know what they do yet, do we?
Nah.
I don't think they said anything.
Maybe they. Well, there was a lot of outfits. There's a whole power-up shop and everything. So, who knows?
Yeah, I actually really liked the outfits. It seems like they're picking those outfits from some cool, obscure Mario titles. Like, wasn't one of them, like, from, like, the cover of a golfing NES game or something?
Yeah, NES Open for the Famicom. It has the red, white, and blue.
Does it really?
Yeah, it's also a Smash Bros. Outfit.
That's really cool.
For Mario.
That's really cool.
I call it Americario.
Americario.
Yeah, and the Mario's Picross safari suit.
And, one of them was Yoshi's Cookie, right?
Oh, geez.
Yoshi's Cookie.
The chef outfit. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of great references. And, like, just
God.
the red girders and the referencing. I know Donkey Kong is in this, yo.
Oh, he's got to be. Well, it's New Donk City.
Level. He's got to be in that level.
You know, did you hear, though, during the, did you watch the direct stream afterwards?
They said we can't talk about it.
They hinted. They did say Pauline is the mayor, though, of New Donk City, though.
She said she was, really?
Yeah, they said that. They said she's the mayor of New Donk City.
Yo, he's coming through.
Dude, he's coming to steal Pauline. It's happening. Because they already have, like, the 2D sections, too. Imagine you get to do, like, the actual Donkey Kong game.
What if you control Donkey Kong with your hat?
Oh, Lord. Ben, you just cracked the code.
I mean, come on. What can't you control?
I don't know. So in general, guys, what did you think about the Nintendo presentation? I think this might be one of the more, like, they hit, I think, most of the notes that people wanted from it.
They hit one of the all-time notes that people have been wanting for how many years? Metroid Prime 4?
And you hinted at this before, but that was, even if it was just a title screen, and they just said in development, we don't have any date, we have nothing, just knowing that it's coming for a lot of people is incredible.
When did Metroid Prime 3 come out?
2007, I believe.
It was an early Wii game, yeah, a long time ago. And I've never really gotten into the Prime games. I did play Corruption on the Wii for a bit. I didn't beat it, but I think the Switch is looking to have, like, a main definitive entry from every one of their, like, top franchises so far. And they also said the Pokemon director said that they're working on a main entry. There's no title screen, title
Nothing.
card, but
yeah. So we don't know if it's
confirmation. It's like it's coming.
It might even end up being its own game. It might not be like a Stars update. This might just literally be like the next iteration.
Yeah, Switch is going to be a powerhouse.
Oh my God. Yeah, at first I think it was actually just because my stream was low quality when I was watching it live, but the Yoshi game looked. I really, really thought that it was Wooly Yoshi. And then when I watched it for a second time in higher quality, I was like, I don't think it's Wooly.
It's more like Paper Yoshi.
It is more like Paper Yoshi.
The character is a regular Yoshi, but all the aesthetics are like cardboard and
yeah.
It seemed cool. I wasn't really taken by the trailer, but I recently looked at some screenshots they released, and those looked really good.
The flipping the world mechanic seems really interesting. It almost reminds me of Super Paper Mario in a sense.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Aaron, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, I mean, I still think Yoshi looks pretty woolly. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he is. But at the same time...
He has some weird texture to him.
He does have a weird texture. I don't think it's wool, though.
Yeah, he wasn't smooth.
He looks more sparkly.
It looks like he's translucent almost, actually.
Paper mache.
Could be paper mache. That'd be pretty cool. Well, I like the trailer. I was pretty taken by it. I mean, it looks a lot very different from their other games, you know? Looks more like a simple platformer than some of the challenge we're probably going to get in the other games. But I'm totally fine with that. And overall, with the Nintendo conference, I mean, I was already sold on the Switch, like I was saying before. But now I really, really need one. I mean, between Mario Odyssey, between Kirby, between Yoshi, between Metroid, between
Rocket League,
Sonic.
Oh, Rocket League was incredible.
We're going to be playing that when it drops.
Rocket League, I need.
You need it.
I need it. Do we know if Sonic is exclusive on the Switch?
No, Sonic Forces isn't. The other one, I don't know. It might be Sonic Mania.
The side-scrolling. Yeah, Sonic Forces, I want to say, looks amazing, and I'm super excited for that. And it looks like Sonic may finally come out with a new great game that many people have been waiting for.
Don't get stuck in the Sonic cycle, bro. Just don't wait until it comes out.
Yeah, it could. I hope it's not an endless cycle. I really hope this breaks it. And prediction, this is going to be the game that is finally the next great Sonic game.
And then 2 months from now, he's going to be disappointed, and the
see
cycle
about that.
begins anew.
First great Sonic game.
I'm not betting on this one, so I'm not going to lose any money, but I will lose my pride.
Also,
You
Xenoblade
already lost
Chronicles
it.
2 looks like a really solid RPG.
I agree.
And
Was that confirmed for this year? I didn't catch the title screen at the end.
I'm bad with the dates. I'm not sure. And the least cool looking game to me was Kirby. Looked like a straight up cash in on Kirby, just like your normal run of the mill.
It looked like the SNES Kirby games, honestly.
They're just doing Superstar again.
Yeah. But, I mean, again, Superstar was a good game, so it's not a bad thing necessarily.
It's not a bad thing necessarily.
Yeah, just get one on the Switch. Why not?
You might as well have every character on there. You know, Kirby doesn't have to be innovative.
Yeah, they got their Kirby team. Just give us a Switch Kirby.
If it has good level design, good graphics, good mechanics, I'm totally down if it's still similar to their earlier games.
It'll probably be solid. Kirby's just like, it skews the most young for all their games, and I don't like it. Like, you can always defy the level design, however good it is. You could just float. I don't know. I never got that.
It doesn't have, like, the tightness to the mechanics in that design. Yeah, but it is more, like, kid-friendly in that sense, where you can kind of just, like, cheese to get through it.
I mean, even, like, a Yoshi game, you can kind of just run through the levels without much of a challenge, but the whole point is getting the collectibles. It's probably similar.
I would argue there's a little bit more.
I think it's more
challenge.
Yeah, it's more challenging in Yoshi, and they give you more to delve into if you really feel like you want to.
Yeah, and there are a lot of Yoshi levels where if you just were like, oh, my only goal here is to reach the end of the level, it would be pretty short-lived. Same as floating past a whole level in Kirby.
True.
Yeah, playing Kirby as a kid, I remember it got pretty challenging. I never played a Yoshi game, so I cannot comment. But Yoshi did seem more quote-unquote kid-friendly. But once again, I don't mind that. But going back to Kirby, I do think it has the potential to have some challenge.
There could be challenge there, especially if they do what they do in the best Kirby games, which is they use the absorbing ability in the right sense, where you have to use it for certain puzzles and stuff. Like, there is room for them to innovate and make it a good game.
And as far as the 3DS, there's a couple handheld remakes coming through with the Return of Samus, Metroid 2.
Yeah, I'm really ready. I want that.
Looks good. And Superstar Saga remake, a GBA game and a Game Boy game coming to 3DS, full remakes.
Woo!
Which are good. They're two classic games. Might as well
bring them up to date.
Remaster them.
Woo!
And that's pretty much Nintendo. You guys got any other last things to say about any of E3?
Yeah.
I'm super excited for Pokken Tournament Deluxe, which we mentioned last time. But the more I think about it, I'm just super excited for the additional characters, to see if they change anything for the Switch edition. And I'm just excited to play the game on the Switch. And, I never fully played the original. And I'm really excited for that game.
Aaron's getting a Switch.
Bottom line, I'm getting a Switch.
I gotta say,
agreed.
I think that the motion controls being added to Skyrim was kind of a cool little tinge that I didn't even realize the first time I saw the trailer. That they were illustrating that with the hand, because I was so captivated by some of the other Skyrim stuff they were doing out there, like the Master Sword. It was kind of crazy, but just slashing your sword. I'm really excited for the split Joy-Con controls in Super Mario Odyssey. They were hyping up the motion controls to just feel awesome, and I think that the Galaxy had some cool little tinges of Mario is pretty grounded by the controls themselves, but the motion controls played a cool little part. And I think that this is just going to bring that to the next level, and there's going to be some sick little subtle type of motion.
Yeah, they were showing off something about like the camera movement. They were like, right Joy-Con can just be the camera or something.
Yeah, the coolest thing I thought was you throw the hat with, you could just flick the Joy-Con and you could actually like guide it and like point it once it's in the air and move it around.
That sounds similar to Mario Galaxy Spin Attack.
Exactly. That's why it's just like, I could see that being really intuitive because you're literally just throwing an item in the game. So you want to throw the hat, you just do a little toss, just like Mario.
Just like Mario.
Yahoo!
I'll say this. Getting on a different subject. Kind of getting back to what I was saying before. I love the Nintendo Nintendo. That's not even up for debate. It would have been nice to see some more from Pokemon. More. We didn't need any more of that. that game actually, I think, showed up in 3 press conferences, which, Jesus.
How many times are we going to say, and more stuff from Skyrim?
Hopefully never
Until
again.
it comes out.
Hopefully never again until
Well,
after.
I'll bet you $10.
I think
Never again.
I think that's a good segue, actually, because you mentioned earlier that you weren't really, or that you were disappointed by the Bethesda conference.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of cool. So what were you disappointed by on that?
Just in general, I didn't like. I really actually did like the opening with like the kids. I actually, and again, I'm not always the biggest kid person, so like that getting to me says something, and it does says something about how effective it is. But I don't know.
Wait,
but
what
that's
was two for kid? What was kid?
the opening where like it was like all the kids of like the, the
I
people.
really like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like
you're
that too. I really like that. And again, like I said, I'm not always like someone who gets like very emotional about kids.
Oh, I thought
That's
you were
what I'm-
saying that you didn't like it because you didn't like kids.
Well, no, I was saying that I liked it despite the fact that I don't always like children. So I have to
it
give
was a
it
good,
credit.
heartfelt opening. I felt good about that opening.
Me too, but then I think the rest of the conference just totally dudded in comparison. I don't know. I didn't like the Bethesda Land thing was just kind of weird and cringy, and I don't know, just like
It felt very in brand with Fallout in particular.
yeah, but not in like a good way. Where like because like they did like humorous shorts for Fallout 4 around the time it came out, and I really liked those. This didn't feel like that kind of clever humor. It just felt like they were kind of like, it's a magical playland with 2 new games and a bunch of VR demos, and you knew everything.
No, I think the other element that we were missing is that it was really playing off the fact that their entire exhibit was set up as Bethesda Land, and it was all like this whole, they really went all out with the theme of their actual booth.
That's right. I did hear that like the booth was that way, which that's
and
really
I heard
cool.
Everyone seemed to love that I was reading, so I think they were just keeping it in brand. Like everyone sitting down for the conference was like, okay, you're in Bethesda Land right now, so they had to keep it with the theme, and
No,
I didn't find
completely.
it to be as cringe, but
I think they could have done more with the pageantry on stage.
Yeah.
That was a big thing in general this year. It seems like there's this big move away from this move towards the kind of Nintendo Direct, which I love the Nintendo Directs, don't get me wrong, but this kind of style of you just kind of go there, trailer, guy at the beginning, guy at the end, bye-bye, that's it. Maybe you get like a gameplay demo. Sony, I think, did it better though, where they actually had like zombies dangling and like little things, and remember there was like that second screen that came in at the end for Spider-Man. That, I think, if you're gonna do that, that's the way to do it. Or remember last year they had the live orchestra there at least. Or
Sony is really perfecting the art of the pacing of their conferences.
Yeah.
But just to quickly brush through the Bethesda thing so we could move on to Sony. I think that the VR, I've spent a good bit of time in VR lately thanks to my friend Andy, Ben's brother. Shout out to Andy. But yeah, I've spent a good amount of time in VR.
He liked my tweet about Beyond Good and Evil 2 the other day. So, shouts out Andy.
Yeah, but after, having the perspective of spending some time in VR, I gotta say the Bethesda stuff really made me,
Well, the
I
VR
thought
was
those
awesome.
were 2 really solid entries into, the overall VR library. They both just look like those are 2 VR games right there. Those are 2 whopping VR games.
They are full games, and I'm sorry. No, please keep going.
Yeah, they just came through with 2 really full force titles, and ending it with Wolfenstein. I think I said this earlier, but that was probably one of my favorite trailers of the entire show. So that was like a crazy strong note to end on. It made me really excited for to eventually try and be immersed in Fallout one day.
I don't know. I agree. I love the Wolfenstein trailer, and even though the Evil Within trailer was actually really
Yes,
good.
one
too.
of
the Evil Within.
trailers, too.
Evil
No, I was
Within
going to
trailer
say,
was great, too.
and they released something after the conference with more gameplay footage, and it
Why the
looks
fuck
so
didn't they just
good.
show that in conference, though?
They should have shown it in conference because
They're tight on time.
it was
But,
better
like,
than what they
why
showed.
the fuck were they so tight on time? They delayed that conference by 2 hours, so it dropped at midnight. It was supposed to go 2 hours earlier. What
It was
the fuck were they
scheduled a
doing?
week in advance. I saw that time a week in advance. I don't know what you're talking
well,
It was no, but before that, it was supposed to be earlier. It was they rescheduled it a week ago. Before that, it was supposed to be earlier.
Well, regardless, the trailer they showed during the conference was good, but the one we saw afterwards showed more gameplay, and I think the game looks so awesome. It's taking more hints from Silent Hill while seeming to double down on that psychological element that the first game had. Dan just lifted his shirt up. I think he was trying to distract me, and it
think,
worked.
I think he's saying his body is ready for some Evil Within too.
It's definitely hot in here.
That nipple hair is beautiful, by the way.
Yeah, but the first Evil Within, I think, is underrated. It's a pretty great horror game. It does have its flaws, but I think it's creepy. I think it's effective. I think it has good gameplay. And if some of those flaws, one of them being that it was frustrating, if that was eliminated in the second game, I think it could be almost a 10 out of 10 horror game.
I think they're going to definitely work on tightening up the mechanics, and it seems like he's working more, even just judging off that early family thing. You saw a lot of the American side developers were talking about working on a horror game. I'm willing to bet that they're going to get more of the Western side working on Evil Within 2, so they can kind of tighten up some of those elements and get the gameplay a little bit tighter. Because the first game I hear is a fantastic, underrated little game, and I always wanted to check it out. I think I'm going to definitely check it out based off of the
Yeah, you could totally borrow it from me.
I definitely will borrow it from you after I get you Bloodborne back. Which, by the way, I started playing that again.
Really?
Beat the Witch, but we'll talk.
Oh, we have to talk about that later.
We will talk about that later. Regardless, though, I don't know. Those things were great, and I love the VR stuff. It just seemed like it was it just seemed very unsubstantial for a press conference. And
yeah, I do agree that it could have been more. Like they could have announced a huge unexpected game or new IP, which I think a lot of people were expecting, but they kind of came out there and they were just like, let's fuck, and you can't help but to just be like, all right.
I think part of the problem too was that there was a lot of people already saying Evil Within 2 was going to be shown. There was already a lot of rumors about that, and same thing with Wolfenstein, because they also teased that game last year in the title card for Bethesda 2006. There was the new Colossus, and a lot of people were saying that. I think it even leaked on Target, which everything fucking leaks on Target now. So I don't know. I felt like it was like, oh, I saw the 2 games that I knew was going to be there, and I saw some VR games that I can't play because I don't own a Vive, and I stayed up till 1 o'clock in the morning for this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Worth it.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Sony.
Yes. You go. You can start.
All right. I mean, I thought Sony had the best conference. I mean, you guys were talking about which one potentially was better, Nintendo or Sony, and I really thought Sony had the best one. Admittedly, I'm also biased towards Sony, but trying to be objective about it, I really thought Sony had a great show. And I think it's just a notch below excellent. If I think that they needed one more thing for it to be excellent, whether that was Last of Us 2,
whether that was $10.
Whether that was $10. No, but in all seriousness, I would have loved to see more gameplay from Last of Us. That would have made it for me. A new Bloodborne 2 would have made it for me.
What about the things they did show?
Okay, so I have a list of what they showed. So they showed Days Gone, God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, Shadow of Colossus, Monster Hunter, Spider-Man. That was awesome. Detroit, Last Legacy. And Marvel.
Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. Yes.
Lost Legacy, sorry. And Marvel vs. Capcom. And that's not touching the VR games.
What do you guys think of the Shadow of the Colossus remake?
I'm very down for that.
I'm very down for that.
Looked awesome. How in-depth do you think that is as a whatever?
That's an interesting question. I think, this is my personal theory, at the very least, I think they're going to update some of the control elements, because that game is pretty old at this point. And I know a lot of the times, something I hear from people when they try to play it, I only ever really played a little bit of it myself even. I've never played the game.
I played it on PS2. I got to the final boss, and then I couldn't finish it because it was just too frustrating of a boss.
Was it the mechanics that were frustrating, or the boss itself?
It was like, well, the whole game is bosses, and then the final one adds in this whole element of like a set piece rather than just the monster. There's like a whole field you have to run through and navigate. So that part frustrated me, and I never made it to the end, but it was pretty epic though.
I hear it's an amazing game.
Yeah, I wonder if this is going to be a full remake or something more like a reboot with some of the same creatures from the first game.
I think it's an amazing game. What I played of it, I loved. I played most of it, and yeah, if they could refine the controls a bit, and maybe make it a little more modern feeling,
I agree.
It could be all-time great.
Would you like to see anything different in the environment? Is there any way they can make the environment more immersive?
I mean, maybe visually, but I mean the environment is pretty lackluster. I think on like as a decision.
Yeah,
because
it makes
most
sense.
of it is just traveling from like boss to boss.
So it's not really this fantasy world. It doesn't have.
Yeah, it's more like scenery and like tension building.
Well, it is like a fantasy world, but there is this kind of, it plays into the story, the element of why the world is so desolate.
It's not an interactive world. It's more of
Got it.
Yeah, it's more just to give you something to look at in between.
Well, the scale of it on the PS4, for what we were shown, to me looks awesome. And that potential of that scale and the puzzles of each creature on current gen, on the PS4, really excites me.
Yeah, after I played a little bit of The Last Guardian recently, and after watching that, it was extremely reminiscent, obviously, of The Last Guardian, but it looked better.
It did, yes.
The graphics look awesome.
Significantly better than
I was floored with how good it looked.
The Last Guardian.
Oh, but it also looks so faithful to the original game, which that's the hard thing when you get into a game like this. Like, you don't want to go around like propagating the world with too much foliage and like making things colorful, because that world has even if it was in part because of how taking advantage of the PlayStation 2, even though it wasn't as advanced of a system, those things were thematically used. They use those limitations to make thematic choices that were smart for the game. You want to honor those things when you're updating it, and it seems like they totally have. It almost reminds me, weirdly enough, of the Wind Waker HD remake, where they really honored it while making it look.
They
totally
do make
beautiful.
changes and retool it, but it's in faithful.
Yeah.
So I haven't played the original either. Is it as epic? And the scaling wise, is it
Yes.
as epic as what
I
we
think
see here?
As a world, it's not as big of a scale as something you think of these days.
Monster wise, I mean.
But monster wise, it is.
Are they as
completely-
giant?
They're amazingly giant. Yeah, it's like I think that's where they put their focus on. Like the game is bosses. It's just.
It literally is just like you go from boss to boss.
So yeah, like when you're climbing on this giant beast monolith, it's insane. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for the potential of that on the PS4.
And one thing I'll say, like, as you know, too, the game had some jankiness because of the animations, because it was literally pushing the PlayStation 2 to its limits. This game looked buttery smooth, and that playing a smooth version of it.
That was some of my complaint, was just the controls felt a little sluggish just in normal play.
So imagine one with better controls and, like, a better frame rate. That sounds perfect to me.
Yeah, one of the things that I was... Do you mind?
No, go for it.
Yeah, one of the things I was most impressed about, and I know we're all... Well, Ben, I'm not sure. I don't think you played this. You might have played it on your brother's PS3. I don't remember. But I know the rest of us played Heavy Rain. And I think that Detroit was, like, definitely a highlight of the show. Especially, I felt like me watching that trailer was pretty well informed by the fact that I had played Heavy Rain. And it gave me a bit of insight into the, style of game that those guys at Quantic Dream are going to make. But, so excited for that. It looks really cool, and the fact that they are associated with Heavy Rain. And I did like Beyond Two Souls with Ellen Page as well.
I didn't play Beyond. I know you were saying you thought it was better than critics gave it credit for, and Heavy Rain is like considered like a masterpiece of the PlayStation 3 era. I played a bit of it myself. I got it just a couple years back, and I loved it. And Detroit looks incredible. I think this might have been the most impressive of the. They've shown it 3 times now, because last year actually wasn't its first time. Correct? I think they showed it at Gamescom or something like that.
They did show it. Actually, I think it was E3 last year that they showed.
No, I think they
showed it, and then they took it back.
I remember hearing that was not its first showing, because I thought it was its first showing, but I think they've shown it apparently.
No, I'm saying I think that the last time they showed it was last E3, Sony.
That was the last time they showed it, but I think never mind. I'm just saying I think that they showed it one time before last year's E3.
Okay.
I think
last E3 wasn't the unveiling of it.
Yeah. I heard someone saying that, we saw Detroit again, and I was like, I don't remember ever seeing that, but okay.
It looks sick.
Either way, yeah.
Wait, Dan, have you played all of Beyond Two Souls?
Yeah.
Oh, how was it? I don't want to focus too much on this.
But it was good. I liked it. I played it a while ago, like 2-3 years ago.
I want to play it.
Yeah, I can lend it to you.
I remember you saying you thought it was very underrated.
Yeah. You don't have a PS3 anymore, so I guess I can't lend it to you.
Didn't they do a PS4 version of it?
Yeah, you can actually buy Heavy Rain, and you could buy a double pack of it for like the low. Like
cool. I might do that.
I might get on that.
Yeah.
Well, yes. Detroit looks awesome. I mean, from the story to the characters to the extreme choices that we can make, it looks really cool.
And I know,
and I agree, it was almost Game of Show.
I agree, and I think you and me were saying this too, Dan. The thematic elements that they're talking about, this idea of this android revolution, that works so well with this kind of decision-based storytelling style that David Cage loves. I think there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, maybe does that qualify as an Alien game? Because it's about android rights.
No. Nice try, but no.
More of a Blade Runner game, if anything.
I mean, I love things that deal with android rights. That, like, it's cool that it focuses around, that question of, like, when there was that one moment where they were like, the androids were stolen from here, but you're just like,
yeah,
they're their own.
It's a Terminator game where we play the Terminators.
Or it's like Blade Runner where you play as the replicants.
I think there was a cool glimpse at, the last time we saw it, rather, at the last E3 or whenever it was.
Of the other side of it.
Yeah, we didn't really see how the gameplay was going to be, but the gameplay for this was just, we got a glimpse of how it was going to work, and it looked nice.
It does.
Fucking innovative, and, like, it's not going to be, like, Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls had a kind of, you could tell they were definitely connected, and they played similarly, although they definitely made plenty of advances with Beyond. It didn't feel so much like
it didn't
Heavy
feel
Rain.
like it was just like they copy pasted it and put a new story in there.
This looks like maybe it's even taking some nods from Watch Dogs, or
it does, yeah.
It looks like it's gonna be really something, though, and just I like the idea of just replaying the moments over, to get the good outcome.
That's always a thing I love about them, and it seems like they're taking that element and they're so desperate. We saw that last year too, but I think this year's presentation did a good job of setting up what the larger story is, and the idea that I love the idea that you're going to be playing protagonist and antagonist. I love when games do that, because I think that's something only video games can really pull off. The idea that you might potentially you can play both sides, an android that's loyal to the humans and one that's not.
Yeah, it always kind of turns out where, like, people at large end up, like, just largely preferring one of the endings over, and the other ending doesn't really hold the water for them, and you're like, a lot of times it does work out where one of the endings doesn't really fall in line with some of the concrete characteristics of the character. You're kind of like, if you choose maybe the bad ending or whichever ending it is, it's like that doesn't really
hopefully
make sense with some things, but yeah,
hopefully they have more complexity to it. I mean, that's
I'm
something
hoping that they could have overcome that, and I think that they kind of know that's like a pretty known challenge, where it's like when there's a good ending and a bad ending, like I feel like one of them normally ends up as the one that sticks,
So interesting. I don't want to stay too long on this. I think I'm going to cut us off, but I just want to talk about one more game.
The most.
Yeah, I think we should wrap it up with Spider-Man, right?
I would love to talk about God of War.
I was going to say God of War.
I would love to talk about God of War.
Okay.
God of War, I thought, looked awesome. And Brian, I want to hear what you have to say about it.
It looked amazing. I don't have so much to say about this that I didn't already say last year, but it looks like it looks like it's taking the best elements, something of the storytelling of like The Last of Us, and like even something like Heavy Rain, and applying it to a series I never would have thought to apply it to, but doing it in a way that feels totally natural and builds off like what a weird, like almost to the point that it became a joke, like Kratos became this like weird rage monster who just like killed for the sake of killing. But like I like the idea that they're taking that and running with it and using it to say like, but what about him like learning to be like a human being again, and his father and a father?
What was God of War 3 like? It seems like the tone has become a lot more realistic or dark.
God of War 3 was the exact
He just
opposite.
killed like everyone.
The opposite.
Yes.
It was probably the most. Aaron was asking me about this actually pre-show. The first game was still crazy, but there was a purpose to it. He was on a mission to kill Ares, the God of War, kind of like Wonder Woman, funny enough, because he tricked Kratos into killing his family. So there was like a real drive and purpose to that one. The second game was when they kind of got into the crazier God stuff, but even that was a little bit more. And the third one was really when they went all out with him just being like, I'm angry, I'm going to kill all the gods. And I like that now they're going the exact opposite and just going way back to, why are you such an asshole? You fucking monstrous person. Like, that seems to be the whole point of the game, is like making Kratos question why he like is such a violent bastard, basically.
And that shield move looked pretty cool.
Oh, it did.
I don't know what shield move are you guys talking about?
In the trailer.
He had some crazy shield and it like expanded itself.
Oh, yes. Yeah, he expands it and hits one of the enemies with it. Yes, that seemed awesome.
The Thor type axe. It was like a Mjolnir type.
I mean, we see the Thor hammer at one point.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's like a giant statue of the Thor hammer.
Oh.
Yes. But story-wise and character-wise, it looks like they're adding depth to his character. You know, like you were saying in God of War 3, he was just pure vengeance, killed everything that moved, and it looks like this game is addressing that and building that and adding depth to that. And I love the dichotomy between his former vengeance and him learning from it, and his son, who is more innocent, and his son learning from Kratos, and Kratos learning from his son. And we still have no idea how Kratos is here, or the timeline that this takes place. So I'm excited to see that.
Well, it's definitely post God of War 3.
Yes, but
Seems
we
like
don't
a
know how
slightly
he got
tough
here.
thing to do with such a large dichotomy. I feel like it's a big change.
Yeah, it seemed almost like rebooty, but
Yeah.
Yes. Do you mean with Kratos' character?
Just the whole thing, I feel like, since the PS2 ones, it seems like a big jump to me.
I feel like it does, and it still
Maybe
feels
just-
like God of War at
that's
the
just
same
me
time.
not having played since then.
Yes. No,
Yeah,
I
that
could
was
totally
the
see that.
PS3.
No, I could totally see that, especially with how vengeful, once again, he is in 3, because he really is, like Brian was saying, a rage monster. And going back to this, I could totally see how you could feel that the dichotomy is a little too large. But I feel that it could really work. And Dan, you said it feels rebooty, and it definitely does from this trailer feel rebooty, but I think that could work. And taking that onto the gameplay, I think the gameplay looks God of War-ish, but also almost a little Dark Souls-ish. And I think that combination could be really awesome. There were some moments that I thought it looked not as smooth as I would have liked, combat-wise, but it's still in development, and we didn't see enough of it for me to really to comment much more on that. I think it has a lot of potential, and I think, once again, that combination between gameplay can really pay off. Brian, how do you feel about the gameplay?
I think it looks awesome. I don't know. I honestly, I have a bunch of things I want to talk about. I'm really looking forward to this game. I'm just sold on it. I like the combat. It looks different. It still feels hack and slashy. It still does feel like God of War, and I
Yes.
don't mind that. That's about all I have to say about it, though.
Okay.
I just want to play it.
I want to play it too.
yeah. Looks cool. I think God of War 3 kind of lost my interest when I was playing it a little bit, but I definitely would be willing to give it another shot.
You should definitely give it another shot. I didn't love it when I first played it, and then I played it again fairly recently, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I have it on PS4. I could totally lend it to you.
Cool. Overall, with the Sony conference, I felt personally like when he came back out on stage at the end, Sean, what's his
Yeah.
last name?
Leighton.
Yeah, when he came out.
Sean Leighton.
Yeah, when he came back out, and he was like, "Oh, wasn't that a crazy 60 minutes?" My first thought was that was 50 minutes, and and I was like feeling a little bit, ripped off. I was
Yeah.
like, they'll probably show one little short thing, and I wasn't feeling fully satisfied. But then as soon as I saw that cityscape,
I felt satisfied.
I mean, for me personally, Spider-Man is just... I'm such a huge fan of Spider-Man. One of the first games I truly fell in love with as a kid and bonded, with, really... Probably one of the most... the first game that I played that a lot of other people I knew, at school were kind of playing. And it was just such a huge game, the first Spider-Man on the... that was on the PlayStation, just Spider-Man. This just really looks like the game I've wanted, my entire life. I was
completely agree.
On the verge of just... it was moving. It really looked like they were on some genius level. They cracked the code on how to just...
I will say one thing. I hope that in the actual gameplay, there's not as much quick time. In that story moment, I don't mind QuickTime events. I really don't. Because, again, for what that was happening, it made sense. That couldn't work as actual gameplay. I just hope that they're not too overly reliant on it. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I completely agree. I think the game looks incredible, and I'm excited. I'll say this for the Sony conference. As much as I've said throughout this thing I was a little disappointed in it, I still think it was, if not my favorite conference, at least second, maybe third, but it was in the top 3 for me. And it was, maybe, yeah, they killed it the last 2 years. You need to have one where you take a break a bit and just kind of focus on the games you have. And that's what they did. We now know what we're getting. Shadow of the Colossus, Spider-Man, and Spider-Man, Shadow of the Colossus, and what's the third? Oh, God of War, all are 2018.
We can't forget about Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter 2, but that's not an exclusive. That's not an exclusive. But that game looked awesome.
Detroit?
Detroit, we didn't get a release date on. Neither
It's
days.
an exclusive, though.
Yeah,
It is,
exclusive.
but I'm not making a point about exclusives. But you're right. Most of it was
Lost
exclusive.
Legacy?
Most of it was exclusives. You're right. But the point I'm trying to make here, Aaron, is that yes, we're getting Lost Legacy and we're getting the story DLC for Horizon, which looked awesome this year. But now we also know we're getting 3 amazing games next year. And I like that Sony was like, this is what you're getting. This is when you're getting it. And especially in the case of God of War, that early 2018 basically means that even if they delay it, you're getting it 2018. I thought that was a very smart move.
Yeah. If I could just go back to Spider-Man for 2 seconds.
Of course.
One aspect, because I do think that Spider-Man is really just... I was saying this earlier off the podcast. I think he's one of the best outside characters, just translating into video games. He's one of just the best video game characters that didn't start in video games. I really like the aspect for superhero-wise of, a lot of focus was spent. Most of the QuickTime events I felt were actually spurred by him wanting to protect the city from collateral damage. You would have your fight, and the fight was gameplay. But when you tossed a giant, metal girder off of the top of a building, that's when, instead of just having you gameplay, jump off the building and, do whatever you're doing to do it, it kind of works it in. So,
no, it's
you
smart.
have to be a hero.
And they get the character where, he wouldn't just let that happen. He would stop that. He would choose to stop people getting hurt over catching the villain in that moment.
Totally.
It captures the heroism of him very well, and it's just, again, it's a very short vertical slice of gameplay. We haven't seen the whole thing, but if we're getting it next year and it looks that good, even if the final game is probably going to have a little bit of a drop, when it's running in the open world, especially because look at Insomniac's recent Sunset Overdrive was a beautiful open world game. I really think they're going to deliver on something special.
No, I'm really excited for the Spider-Man game too, and overall, I think the Sony conference was great, and once again, just short, one game short of being excellent.
It was almost as good as getting an exclusive new Porsche.
Yeah, sorry,
yes.
we
Leading
ran out
in.
of time, Xbox. Sorry,
Sorry,
Xbox.
Okay, I'll say
man,
this.
Showed too many cars. Couldn't
Oh, no.
get to it. Sorry.
I'll say this real fast. They showed a lot of cool games in that Xbox conference. I won't knock them. That, but
they
a lot
did
of it.
the best they could.
They did the best they could. A lot of those games looked like they did a lot of those arena type shooters that are big on PCs. A lot of it seemed like it was PC ports of games that might not translate well to console. So I'm interested to see how that pans out.
Yeah,
for
and
them.
actually the Pirate game by Rare that really interesting.
Sea of
Sea of
Thieves.
Thieves.
Sea of
Yeah.
Thieves. Yeah.
Jinx.
That did look pretty cool. I thought that Cuphead is the obvious, that's the
I've
strongest
been
thing.
looking
I
at
heard.
that
Yeah.
one for a while. Yeah, it looks good.
Okay, so me and Dan watched together, and we looked at the 20-minute mark. The only thing that they showed was Forza. And around that point, they also showed a car. They released a car at the video game conference, which is just a really weird decision. Maybe if they did that at the end, I could buy it. But one of the first things that they show being a car that they're releasing.
Game that was Anthem, which is coming to PlayStation anyway.
Oh, that's what they ended it
Yes.
on.
Also,
Yeah.
BioWare is not the hot property anymore
Yeah.
because of they're still in Mass Effect blowback mode. So that's not maybe as hot of a proposition. People were a little bit cooler on that than they maybe would have been pre Mass Effect Andromeda. I feel like I heard a lot of people being like, yeah, it looks okay, but we'll see.
Yeah, the best things.
I love that trailer though. But
No, the trailer was really cool, but the best things were multi-platform. I mean, their only exclusive AAA game. I mean, their 2 exclusive AAA games were Forza and Crackdown 3.
and Sea of Thieves.
And Sea of Thieves.
And that Crackdown trailer was not even a
God.
trailer.
Oh god.
Terry Crews. Oh man.
Yeah, it's so weird. Xbox was way too much talking and way too much cringe.
Yeah.
PlayStation was a little bit too insubstantial. I feel like they had to meet each other in the middle a little bit.
Can we talk about when that guy came out and just started yelling on
Oh,
the platform?
yeah, the
just
Darwin
yelling
Project?
commands? That was how many people watched that and nobody was like, this does not play well.
Yeah.
It was just so...
It's so
it was
dumb.
so dumb.
Or when
yeah,
they always
really-
have to have someone come out and talk about fucking Minecraft for 20 minutes, even though, I mean...
The Minecraft 4K, dude, that's the thing that you gotta understand.
Rock
is that
solid.
4K. Okay, on a scale of 1 to 3 E's, how many E's would you give this E3?
4Ks. Keep plugging.
2 E's.
2 E's.
2 E's.
Two E's out of 3?
2 E's out of 3. How about you, Ben?
That sounds about right. 2 E's
Yeah.
out of 3.
Not the best, but also not the worst.
Two.
Can I say
2.3.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
2.3
You read my
E3s.
mind. I was going to say 2.3.
Yeah, 2.3.
I stand by two.
Sounds good.
That sounds perfect.
All right,
I
here.
stand by 2.
Key Pluggin rating. This 2017 E3 gets 2.3 E's out of.
I can test
3
this.
E's E3.
All right, fine.
You're overruled 3 against
Overruled.
1.
All right. I'll say this, though, real fast, before we wrap up. Does anyone have anything to say about that fucking Ubisoft conference, though? I mean, Beyond Good and Evil 2. That is a really cool
That was
thing.
a sweet trailer. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's gonna still be a Squish exclusive.
Switch.
Minions. I mean, Rabbids.
I actually,
Looks kind of bad.
I was actually kind of interested in that game. I didn't mind the gameplay. Thought I was gonna hate it, and I looked at the gameplay and I was like, this actually looks like XCOM almost. It looks like
I'm just not a fan of strategy RPGs, but I also just hate the Rabbids, so.
Yeah, I was most interested in just keeping those Super Mario Rabbid guys like out of my eyeballs for as much as I can, because that Peach Rabbid, like, I
With the
cannot
iPhone.
imagine just it's
Poor
it's-
Miyamoto had to introduce that.
It's a bastard.
Oh, man. It's
Yeah.
worse than Hotel Mario. And
It's
CGI.
weird.
Fuck.
You know, most people, I think, I was reading a bunch of polls. A lot of people say that they won E3. I don't necessarily agree. I mean, Beyond Good and Evil was fantastic, but I don't think it was enough to redeem the entire conference. There was a lot of cringy
Let's be real.
stuff.
Nintendo won. Like, come on.
I think it might have. I think I might go Nintendo Sony at the moment.
Sorry, I have to contest this. I think Sony won.
You yourself said that a mustachio T-Rex is the best thing you've ever seen.
I also said that was a bit of hyperbole. I jokingly said that. It was awesome. Don't get me wrong. It was awesome. But I just loved everything that Sony had.
Do we want to go
show.
around and give rankings? Do we want to stack it like
no.
that? I don't think we need
2.3
to.
E's.
2.3 E's.
That'll do.
All right. On that note, I think we're going to wrap this up, boys and girls. Ben, shake my hand. Aaron, shake my hand. Daniel, shake Ben's hand, and then shake mine too. Listeners, we are shaking each other's hands in some kind of weird Cronenbergian mass.
Crony.
I'm also metaphysically reaching out and including you inside the Cronenbergian mass. I wish you a good night and good luck. And as always, Mr. Ben Farrell, where can we find you online?
Keep Pluggin LI on Twitter and keep Pluggin everywhere else.
Daniel, where can we find you online?
I am Earl of Rumham, and I'm proud to introduce the newest member to Twitter in the room, Mr. Aaron Walsdorf.
That's right.
At Wasabi Spaceship.
Wasabi Spaceship. Hit me up.
Your name is also the Dwarf, I believe, right?
It is, yes.
Aaron, where else can we find you online? Just there?
Yeah.
Snapchat, A Walsey.
Snapchat A Walsey.
Go to
And
the
you can
end
find
of
me,
the-
and find me on Twitter.
All
Please.
right. Welcome to Twitter, Aaron. I need
Thank
to follow
you.
you. We need to get you
Yeah,
on
I
that
mean-
tweet.
Give us your...
You already know what it is,
Stuff.
ladies and gentlemen. You can find me on Twitter at Hi There Big Fella. Follow me, Aaron.
Follow me, Brian.
You fucking follow me first. I said so. You can find me on Twitter at Hi There Big Fella. You can find me on Instagram as the_sans_man. You can find me on Snapchat as just sans_man. And that's it. All right, everybody. We love you. Keep plugging.
Here we go, off the rails. Don't you know it's time to raise our sails? It's freedom like you never knew. 20 bags or a pass. Say the word, I'll be there in a flash. You could say my hat is off to you. Oh, we can
There's a bee.
That bee didn't die. Unlike all the bees of the film, The Happening.
I'm telling you, that movie's about bees dying.
It's not
That's
what
the
that is.
happening.
That is
All
not.
the bees die.
That is not what The Happening is about. Maybe bees die in it, Ben, but I